We have every right to dream heroic dreams. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look.
My father left before I was born. I was basically brought up by my grandparents.
Mark's family had always had a weight problem, particularly his mom. In her effort to control her weight, she had become addicted to prescription diet pills.
I can remember seeing her in the hospital and having a lot of things happen to her from drugs and what drugs can do to you. When I was 18 years old, she finally died from a drug overdose.
In search of a way to avoid the type of suffering his mom had gone through, Mark attended an herbal symposium conducted by the Republic of China. What he learned there convinced him that herbal nutrition could be the key to safe and effective weight loss. He then sought out the best manufacturer for his products. And from a small office in prestigious Beverly Hills that also served as the company's warehouse and distribution center, Mark made over $23,000 in his first month of business. Spreading the word about Herbalife through ads, flyers, and his business opportunity meetings on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, one of the first people to respond was Jerry Satanovich.
This ad just popped out at me. It said, "Prisoner, are you tied to a desk? Do you hate punching a clock?" And I looked at that ad. It was I tore it out. It was the only ad I tore out. It was the only ad I responded to. And that ad, Mark Hughes answered.
Always looking for a way to increase sales, Mark's first promotion was a weekend getaway vacation to Palm Springs. 9 people qualified, and it pushed Mark's royalty check to over $2,000. By the end of its first year, Herbalife sales had reached an astounding $2 million, and the company moved to its new office and warehouse in Culver City. Quickly outgrowing that space, Mark had to acquire an additional warehouse just to accommodate the incredible amount of product being shipped. And on September 12th, Mark gave out the first production bonus award for $21,000. With sales of $10 million by the end of the year, Herbalife began its first international expansion into Canada, with Leslie Stanford leading the way.
I remember one day we were just flying. We couldn't believe it. Our royalty checks, my check had gone from $2,000 to $8,400 to $19,500 in 3 consecutive months.
There was nothing Mark wouldn't do, even going door to door to explain his concept of use the product, wear the button, and talk to people. He worked tirelessly, spreading word of the Herbalife dream around the country. Over a 4-week period, he spoke to over 4,500 people at 6 standing-room-only corporate rallies across the United States and Canada. Now it was time to take the company around the world. Herbalife's next step was to go down under, opening Australia in April of 1983. While at home, the excitement was growing.
It's taken us almost 3 years to get ourselves into this kind of position, but now hundreds of thousands of people know about our products, know about our company, and know what's going on.
Well, Lori was the one that got me involved. You can tell she's pretty strong about this thing. I used to be a rock and roll star, so I'll say
I've got a tremendous, advantage on you. I have extensive marketing and business background. I've got a degree in ceramics.
And business turned into fun and family as Mark welcomed everyone into his home for the first big Herbalife party and into their new corporate offices. With sales already over $150 million, the business was growing so fast, even Mark was amazed.
Now, I've been waiting for this night here since before the company even started. Tonight, when I walked into the auditorium, I just couldn't even believe what was going to take place tonight. And sitting behind stage and watching it, all I can say is I can't believe what's happened with all of us in the last 4 years. I can't believe it.
The top bonus check that night was for $125,000.
When you got money, you can do a lot for your family, for your kids. But in the first year with the company, we made $400,000, and now this, and I still don't have a credit card.
Later that year, Herbalife went on the air with the Herbalife Communications Network, taking health and opportunity into everybody's home, starting a whole new trend in television broadcasting. The Herbalife message was now readily available to millions of people across the country. And as Herbalife was becoming a national phenomenon in America, it also began its first expansion into Europe with the opening of the United Kingdom in May of 1984.
Alan and Carol Lorenz, this is Carol.
Mark was always looking for ways to keep the business fun, simple, and magical. And chartering 2 DC-10s full of distributors and taking them down under to Sydney, Australia was nothing less than spectacular for the biggest meeting yet in Herbalife. The Sydney Opera House had never seen anything like it.
I've lost 20 pounds all up now, and this is the best.
We haven't been in the business a year yet. Our 9th royalty check was $40,883, and we're excited.
I used to drive a truck, and I made $80,000 last month. You want to join this sucker or not?
Come on, live! Live!
Look at us, look at us, look at us, huh? Now tell the truth. Who's better looking and why am I?
In 1985, the bomb dropped. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, spurred on by the pharmaceutical companies, began its investigation of the diet industry in America. A national panic ensued, sweeping up Herbalife in its wake.
There's going to be a whole lot more articles that are going to come out about this company, and they're not all going to be positive. Some are going to be very, very negative. Okay, they're going to take some bad shots at us. They're going to say some things are wrong with our products. They're going to say some things are wrong with some of the ingredients.
You do there's protein powder and things in there that do make you feel alive, and yet they're criticizing you for that.
But I think that the criticism comes when you have so many people doing well. It's subject to question.
Right.
You know, how can everybody be doing this well? And I think the same thing's true with the money.
That company, as I announced on the show, is grossing $500 million. But you've got a lot of partners out there, don't you, that you share that $500 million with?
There's about 1 million distributors out there.
How much of that will go to them for selling the product?
66%.
66% goes back to the
distributors, yeah.
With the support of thousands of distributors who marched on the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., Mark testified before the United States Senate in a battle for his dream. During 6 days of grueling televised hearings in which Herbalife was the main focus, Mark's confidence in his products and his dream never wavered.
And they should have been brought to this hearing instead of the so-called expert weight loss people that were here yesterday. I think if they're so expert in weight loss, why were they so fat yesterday? It seems to me, and I'm not trying to make any jokes, but I do think that they ought to use our product.
Well, I'd like to make a couple of statements first. I think the $64 question in the room over the last couple of days was Herbalife products safe? And it was clear in these meetings over the last 2 days that indeed it is.
I'm pleased to announce that after a year and a half, with many, many discussions with the Food and Drug Administration, the California Attorney General, and the State Department of Health, that all 3 of these agencies have independently determined that the Herbalife products have been and still are safe for the American public, and furthermore that all of our products, claims, labeling, and marketing materials are now in complete compliance with the spirit and the letter of state and federal law.
In the last 3 weeks, I've lost 32 pounds. I can't believe I'm losing weight. 7 months, I've lost 208 pounds. It's been so exciting, I've lost 228 pounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norman Dignard.
Before Herbalife, I only dreamed of being thin. I only dreamed of it. Thanks to Herbalife, I'm thin.
Looking straight ahead, Mark brought Jim Rohn on board full-time.
The only deterrent to becoming successful in Herbalife is simply self-imposed limitations.
With no limitations on Mark or any of the distributors, all the top bonus winners from around the world came to Los Angeles to celebrate Herbalife's 7th anniversary. From the Wiltern Theater, the event was broadcast live via satellite on 3 continents. The message remained the same as always: the dream, the product, and the opportunity. The 8th anniversary was celebrated in style, with Mark giving away a Rolls-Royce to the #1 distributors live on stage in San Antonio, Texas. Then it was off to the United Kingdom for a celebration fit for a king at London's Royal Albert Hall. Next, it was Sydney, Australia, for a blazing affair at the Centrepoint Theatre, where New Zealand was officially welcomed into the Herbalife family. And finally, it was on to Toronto, Canada. As the 80s came to a close, Japan, Israel, and close neighbor Mexico joined the family. Another Rolls-Royce went to the #1 distributors. And Europe opened their doors to Herbalife as the business moved into Spain. And while the whole world celebrated the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, a wave of hope swept Herbalife into the 90s. With 10 years of experience behind them, Mark and the distributors could look ahead and intensify their efforts to building the business, both locally and globally. The 90s started with a turn in fortune as the Herbalife European market expanded with the opening of France and Germany. And at home, a new program was launched, establishing new business and new leaders.
So what we're going to do now is present to you what you get in your brand new Diet Disc Program box.
Then you will be not only very happy, but you will make also a lot of money, like we are making right now, which is $40,290.67 in one single month.
1991 would change the course of history in Herbalife. First, the company took on a whole new look, and then Mark made a major change in the marketing plan. With the introduction of the 246, and by shifting the distributors' attention to their entire organization, sales increased, in some cases doubling incomes. Spain and France were challenging the U.S. for the #1 sales spot in the company. Portugal, the Czech Republic, Italy, and Hong Kong all came on board. Mark brought the world together in Long Beach to set the course for the year. The only thing missing from the Herbalife world now was that one product to capture the world's attention. And true to form, Mark had a surprise up his sleeve. The introduction of Thermogenics Green and Beige in 1992 was nothing less than incredible. In the first year alone, sales in the U.S. nearly tripled.
All you got to do is take one of these, 3 of those, twice a day at 10 and 3, and you lose weight like crazy.
The stage was set in Europe for a celebration unlike anything Herbalife had ever seen before. All countries joining hands in Paris, and then again in Barcelona, changed Herbalife in Europe forever. To this day, those who attended the extravaganza in Barcelona recall those days in February as 3 days that changed their lives. Italy was on the move, and the Netherlands was welcomed into the Herbalife family. In 1993, worldwide sales leapt from $405 to $700 million. Herbalife was on track to become a billion-dollar business. And the leaders met in Maui and in Cannes to meet the task. By mixing fun with business, Mark set up a whole new plan for the future. In 1994, Argentina and Venezuela became the first South American countries, and the Dominican Republic opened Central America. Poland, Denmark, Belgium, and Sweden were added in Europe, and the Philippines in the Pacific Rim. 13,000 distributors enjoyed Ray Charles and Natalie Cole at another incredible extravaganza.
And I'm so excited, really.
In the second year we did this job, this company paid us $1.16 million.
The party of the century went through the floor, creating the first annual Dom and Dom party, quite by accident. The next day, cruise with Hughes.